I've only seen one episode so far. That's all they've given us, but I absolutely loved it. And I love doing these junkets for TV shows, particularly kind of murder mysteries. But the problem is they give you like an episode or two, and then you just have this wait, this kind of excruciating wait, not knowing what comes next. But I know it's all part of the fun. But I'm interested to know, is that kind of the case for actors too? Do you kind of get all the scripts in one go, or you kind of drip fed them sometimes? And what was it like on this occasion?
It depends. Sometimes I'm working on something at the moment. We have all 6 episodes. On this, we didn't. So we sort of know where the story's going, and George has done an outline of that. But yeah, we started with strong 3 episodes, I
Yeah.
think, and then as we were going, the scripts would come in. And that's sort of the norm now, I think, more and more. I mean, Sherwood was the same. When I did Walking Dead, we literally started with nothing, and then you would get a script every week and stuff like that. So yeah, it's quite. I've just been doing a Russell T Davies job, and we had all the scripts before we started. But that's the rarity now, I think.
Yeah, how much does it change your process when you go into a project and take on a character? When in some instances, you've got every single script, every kind of beat and every kind of sort of character development. And on some occasions, you're kind of working it out as you kind of go. Does that change a lot to how you tackle a character and tackle a project?
I think it's really important to have an arc. I think it's really important to know where you're going through the story. That helps you make your decisions. But I find nothing more thrilling than being able to play what's on the page, and try not to predict anything. Because at the end of the day, you can only play what is on the page.
That's what human life is.
Exactly. So that's the way I like to work.
Yeah.
And it's all about the writer. When you've got someone like George at the helm, then you've got great trust there. So you're working away on your daily scenes that you need to do, but he's squirreling away in his office and something's going to come along. And that was true of James Graham as well. So yeah, it depends on the personnel behind it, really.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, we watch this first episode as kind of viewers, and we can kind of tell instantly if it's something we kind of want to carry on with, if we're kind of gripped off the bat. When you get scripts for a show of this nature, the kind of real kind of whodunit, is that partly what tells you if this is the project that's right for you too, that kind of longing to come next? When you read that script and you just want to know desperately where it's going, does that sort of tell you, right, this could be something I'm interested in taking on?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if I don't want to carry on reading, why do you want to carry on watching? I mean, I think that's the thing for me. It's like I want to find out more. If I don't want to find out more, there's no point doing it, really.
Yeah, if it hooks you, it hooks you. But also, for me, it's about the team. It's like a chemistry set. It's the people behind, the people you never meet, the people you don't see, that are making it. Your producers, the production company, your director, your co-stars, where it's being done. All these little elements have to come together, and it has to kind of click. And that all that is taken into consideration after you've read the script. Because if you're struggling on page 4 or 5, I always try to read, never mind good or bad, I always try and read a script 3 to 4 times the first episode before I make a decision on anything, in case I've missed something, or in case I've just not got it, or in case it just needs to kind of filter through a little bit longer. But the older I get, the more I rely on my instinct with the script. If I don't get it, I just don't get it. If it hooks me in like this instantly, and it was made me feel differently, then it's absolutely the next project.
Yeah, I think that both of your performances are so great. And I mean, David, I wanted to ask you, I wanted if you could talk to the kind of challenges of portraying this character, because he's got this kind of facade, the kind of public facing, almost stoic kind of approach, having to kind of balance his career responsibilities with this kind of tragedy in his private life, which he's kind of heavily embroiled in. But deep down, obviously, you get a sense it could be hurting, of course. It's a complex role with so many kind of layers. Is it interesting to kind of play someone who's going through so much yet shows so little?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the reason I wanted to do it. Quite often you get characters who are very expressive, and that's great. They're great to play, but to get someone who was not expressive and was holding so much in, that's a real challenge, and I like that. But if, in any drama, if the character isn't complex and needing to sort things out, then there's no reason to play him. You want a character that's in crisis or dilemma, regardless of what that is and how it comes out or how it plays out. Though, it's quite a boring character to play who's just sorted out and quite happy to go through life. There has to be a crisis in there somewhere because that's what you want to play. But it was interesting to play someone who was so locked in and so on, someone who's so inexpressive, and that the fact that he's inexpressive means that he's a prime suspect. And then we start asking questions about him, about why is he like this? How is he like that? What type of man is this? What would it be like to be with someone like this? They're the questions that you start asking, and it makes that was a really satisfying. It's not just a whodunit, it's sort of why and how, and they're the things that's really interested me.
Yeah. And Eve, I mean, I feel like we've seen such great attention to detail when it comes to portraying the kind of process now that law enforcement have to take in these kind of high profile cases. I mean, you look at the likes of like Line of Duty, did so much kind of due diligence in that kind of regard, in the way they did their kind of interviews and all that kind of stuff. So when playing a detective now, do you kind of seek out lots of research to better understand that role? Was there anyone or any in particular that you kind of used to help kind of get your head around this particular character?
Any character. I'll reach out. I will go to any sort of. I will go through photography books. I will listen to music. I'll walk along a river. I will just sit in a cafe. I will do anything that maybe might lock some to help what I'm about to do. But this one in particular, I had much help with Julie McCarthy, who this is slightly based on, a fascinating, extraordinary woman who has an incredible story to tell. So she's at my back and call really all the time. I've picked up the phone. She was there for me. She set visits and was incredibly generous with her time and brutally honest. And I needed that on this. But also, I'm slightly obsessed with 24 Hours in Custody. I think I've watched every episode of it because the psychology in that show is, I find it so enjoyable. But I think in particular for this series, where David and I have so many two-handers and we have nothing around us. And it's not even in the police station. It's in a house. It's on a couch. It's in a living room. It's in a kitchen. But actually, the format doesn't change. The format is still, I'm interviewing you, but you don't know it yet. Yeah. So it's the ways and means that people do that in real life, how detectives kind of swap roles and how, one will push one sort of question and how one will take the other one away, and how one becomes a confidant and how one becomes, the kind of person who's really strong and razor sharp on it. So I probably have watched all of them just to see and to pinch kind of everything that they do. And it's never what you expect. It's never how you would expect them to get the information out of somebody who is, in a similar sort of situation to what we were. So that's really helped. And I also have a very difficult strand in this with my my husband, the character in it by Peter MacDonald. And I wanted to get that right. So then you reach out to places. Mark Hedges, our amazing producer, put me in touch with Refuge, and they were very, very helpful and helped me sort of unknit thing I had not judgment on, but I thought I had better understanding of. And it turns out I had no understanding of it at all. So it's about telling that strand of the story as honestly as possible and truthfully as possible.
And you mentioned music. I've interviewed a lot of actors recently who've kind of talked about the kind of leaning on music as a kind of a tool to kind of really help them access kind of characters. Is that something that's quite true of both of your kind of processes? And if so, what was the kind of standout song that you think best illustrated your role on this production?
What was yours? Go on.
I listened over and over again to London Grammar, actually. And it was, Stronger.
Nice.
And it was really important to me to have a really strong sort of female warrior voice, which I think Annie has internally, that nobody really hears, only her.
Yeah, I listened to two things really. One was Keith Jarrett's Clone concert, which is just very atmospheric for me, but also Jacqueline Dupre's cello concerto, Elgar, and that's sort of in the piece as well. There's sort of, my wife was a music teacher and stuff like that, so they were the pieces I used really. It depends for me. Sometimes words, when you're listening to music with words, sometimes can get in my head a little bit. So sometimes it's, for me, better just to have a sort of composition rather than a song. But it depends. It depends on the character.
Well, that's all I've got time for, I'm afraid. But I can't wait to carry on watching this because I'm one in, and I can't wait to keep going because it's great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Steph.
You're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey, you guys!
Hey You Guys.
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!